In today's economy, more people than ever are looking to buy and sell businesses. But how do you do it? Welcome to the Deal Board, presented by Transworld Business Advisors. Straight talk about real deals and real people. Listen to stories, interviews, and expert advice to help your business sale, merger, or acquisition process. Now, here are your business exit experts, Andy and Jessica.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Deal Board. And we have a great show today. We're going to be talking about the Pacific Northwest. And I just got back from a fabulous trip there. I was up in Seattle, wishing my daughter well as she moved to the city, which is, she couldn't move any farther away, Jess. This is ridiculous.
No, I mean, Fort Lauderdale to Seattle's about the two furthest points in the U.S., so at least you'll get those airline
move to
Alaska,
I guess, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess in the continental U.S., but yeah, you guys will rack up some miles. It'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be great. And Seattle, and we came back, and my wife and I did a lot of touristy things in Seattle, and we see the love, right? It's such a dynamic city. I mean, forget just the touristy things that we did, you know, going to the Pop Museum and going to seeing the Cholula exhibit and going to the seafood market, Pike's Market, just lots of fun things to do in Seattle. They are rebuilding that whole waterfront area, and it's going to be really dynamic. But it is an amazing small business city as well.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Pacific Northwest really is, but what were you talking about? In Washington alone, like 99% of all Washington businesses are small businesses. So that's extremely significant and probably one of the higher percentages for U.S. states.
Yeah, you think that there's these huge companies like Microsoft and Starbucks and all these big companies, these tech companies that are up and coming. But still, it's a huge small business marketplace. And same with Oregon, right?
Yeah, and I actually recently just got back from Oregon too. We stopped in Portland, but I was fortunate enough to be able to venture out and get down to Bend and see Mount Hood and really do the outdoor stuff. But Oregon too, really supportive of small business in all the different markets, fabulous community for entrepreneurs, and still very, very heavily small business oriented. So we're doing some stats for the show. I think Oregon is 99.4% small businesses. So still almost all businesses in Oregon are small businesses.
Yeah, and I don't want to forget about our franchisee, Nick, up in Alaska. The Alaskan small business economy, again, another place where there's tons of investment, people going up to Alaska, kind of the last frontier, but it's just a beautiful place. Of course, 6 months a year, it's absolutely gorgeous. And then, the other 6 months, they seem to hibernate, but it's a different way of life up there.
Right. And still, again, very small business oriented, but growing. I mean, all three of these states are growing too. I mean, Alaska's growing at, an annual rate of about 2%. Oregon, it looks like 3.8%. And Washington, 4.3%. So really strong economies for these small businesses. And it seems like most small business owners in all three of these states are very optimistic about what's going to be continued for 2019 and even into 2020.
Yeah, all those regions are experiencing a population growth. Again, my daughter moved out to Seattle because it's the hot place for young people. They're going there for jobs. There's a lot of medical tech. There's a lot of course, technology itself. There's a lot of service businesses out there. It's a really cool place, and they're very progressive. With social laws and things like that. We don't need to talk about that too much, right?
Yeah, but I think it's just interesting as you see this millennial generation grow up. They're choosing to live in different states for lifestyle. I mean, all the Pacific Northwest states also have a really great, work-life balance, whatever you want to call it, access to the outdoors. They're just hip and cool. And you see a lot of migration patterns to those states with these younger workers, which is helpful, right? Because a lot of the small businesses in these states and other states as well are really worried about finding employees with the right skills and experience for their businesses.
Yeah, if there was anything we read in all the reports was that there's a lack of talent. It's a tight labor market. We see that in a lot of places. The minimum wage is going up. It's kind of crunch on looking for that talent. So it's a great time for kids millennials to go out there and strike a new career and look, to grow into a up and coming area. And we are interviewing on this show four of our franchisees in different ways. Bob Kelliher from Central Washington, talking about the outskirts and talk about wine. We even talk about the wine and amazing things that are out there in Central Washington.
Yeah, the wine industry, both in Washington and Oregon, really is starting to explode. Not that it hasn't been big before, but really getting some of the recognition it deserves. Did you say Bob had a really great listing of the week too?
Yeah, I think I have to remember if it's on this one, but you got to call Bob. He's got an amazing resort for sale that's just a lifestyle kind of deal, and so I think we featured it on this one or the next one. But you could always look it up online, and then of course we have Kevin Moen, who's like right in the heart of Seattle, just north of Seattle and Renton, and we have some other people in Seattle that are killing it, Curtis and a couple other of our franchisees. And then I interview Michael Morrissey from Portland, which is another great city, right?
Yeah, it's a great city, a very strong small business city, and a lot of access to knowledge for entrepreneurs and new business owners.
Yeah, in fact, my daughter was in Portland last night. They had some sort of outdoor music festival. But you see all these cities, all these downtowns, very vibrant, very up and coming. And that's great for small businesses. And if you're looking to invest in a small business, we were just talking about that before this, that we do think that 2020 is going to be kind of the tipping point for your ability to sell your business, maybe like a little bit of a high for at some point. So and this might be the time that if you're going to move to somewhere like the Pacific Northwest, or if you're thinking about selling in the Pacific Northwest, this might be the time to do it.
Yeah, we're definitely at the height of the market. Like I don't think it could get much higher at this point, but it's a great time to sell. It's also still a great time to buy. There's still great deals out there for buyers. And if you're thinking about a relocation or maybe just an expansion for your current business into a new market, the Pacific Northwest is definitely one to consider.
Yeah, I mean, anecdotally, I still think that buying a business is a great deal. I mean, investing in yourself. Who could think of a safer investment? And still, the cap rates that you're buying into on small businesses is still really high. I mean, and by high cap rates, if the lower they go, the longer it takes to make your money back. So we're talking, you could buy a business and get your money back in 2 years, maybe 3 years.
Yeah. And I just read a study that if you start a company, it takes an average of 5 to 7 years if you start a company from scratch to return your investment. Whereas like buying a company, like you said, 2 to 3 years to return your investments, it's legitimately half the time. Right. So it's a really, really smart move as a business owner.
Yeah. And in being in both cities, I'm sure you in Portland, me in Seattle, if you are unsure of starting a business and you want a partner, the franchise world is just exploding. I mean, there are tons of franchises opening up in those areas and a lot of franchises, starting there as well.
Right. There's great opportunity in both cities, and you'll hear from some of our franchisees. They run fantastic practices and offices out there and are a huge help to business owners. So why don't we jump into it and hope you get a lot out of the show.
It's a great show. Let's do it.
Transworld Business Advisors is the world's largest business brokerage and mergers and acquisitions firm with over 500 brokers in nearly 200 offices worldwide. Transworld's team handles thousands of business sales every year. To be connected with a qualified business broker or learn more about the buying and selling process, visit tworld.com/the deal board or call 888-719-9098.
Hey, we're back, and we are talking about the Pacific Northwest. And yes, we have a lot of great Transworld business advisor franchisees up here, out there in the world, doing good deals for good people. And we have one of those people right with me right now. I have Bob Kelliher, and he is from Transworld Business Advisors of Central Washington. Welcome, Bob, and let's talk a little bit about Central Washington. Things are doing well up there?
It's doing great. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate you inviting me here today. Central Washington is a new territory, opened up in November. We're covering pretty much 2/3 of the state, so anything east of the Cascade Mountain Range all the way to Spokane. So the people out there are wonderful to work with, a lot of business owners, a lot of agriculture, things like that. It's a pretty diverse territory, but things are doing well.
Yeah, so there's listen, the economy is good. There's SBA lending. People are certainly moving to the Pacific Northwest. I just lost my daughter to the Pacific Northwest. Her and her friends graduated from Northeast College, and there's a lot of things going on in the Washington and Seattle and Oregon area. I mean, in Portland.
That's true. The population in the Seattle area is getting so vast that it's forcing people to go east. So I would say the biggest growing section of the state will be Central Washington. So it's nice to have a Transworld office there.
And so the ag business, you said, is mentioned pretty big with wine business?
Yeah, wine. A lot of people are buying second homes. So again, the population boom is great. Most of the owners out there are selling because of retirement. Business has been good out there. People are wonderful to work with.
Yeah, so you're looking at the typical baby boomers retiring and people moving to the area, which is always great. Population growth is always good for business brokerage and opportunities. So you're seeing a lot of good opportunities for people to buy a business.
I am. And one thing we do at Transworld, we're more of a face-to-face company, and they don't have a lot of business brokers that are willing to travel to these smaller towns out in Central Washington. But we get in front of them. We work with them. They're a pleasure to work with.
Great. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how best to do that?
Well, just reach out. I take calls 7 days a week. You can reach out to me anytime. Go on the internet, look at Transworld Central Washington, Bob Kelliher. You'll get my email and my phone number there.
Great. Thanks for coming in today. I really appreciate it, Bob.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Andy.
Hey, Andy, you know what time I think it is? I think it's time to talk about our deal of the week.
Deal of the week. Sold.
Hey, we're back, and we have, we do big businesses, we do small businesses, and we have a really nice niche business that we sold in Central Washington, and we have Bob Kelliher from Transworld Business Advisors of Central Washington to talk a little bit about this deal. So welcome, Bob, and why don't you talk a little bit about the deal that you just sold?
Oh, thank you, Andy. Yeah, it was a smaller size deal. It sold for around $69,000. It was a small cafe on the lower level and a 3-room inn up above. And in this small town in Central Washington is a tourist destination for a lot of people in the Seattle area to come out and vacation, snowmobile, fishing, that kind of stuff. But the owners there were looking to retire. They kept pretty good books, which is always important when working on any transaction. The marketing of Transworld is so amazing. I mean, we had buyer inquiries coming as far as Waikiki, and Waikiki actually had an offer in, but the actual winning buyer came from the western side of Washington State in Bothell. They were looking to transition themselves, a younger couple, out to the Central Washington area for better quality of life. So we were able to make the owners happy, the sellers, and the buyers are extremely happy. They're going to take this business to a whole new level. They're a lot younger and they have a lot of great ideas, and everybody walked away happy.
Oh, good deals for good people. That's great. And we do that a lot. I mean, and that's very interesting. That's what we like to do as well, create multiple opportunities for our seller. But it sounds like the buyers got a great deal. They were looking to move, change their lifestyle. That's what we do here at Transworld. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you and find another great business in Central Washington, how best can they do that?
Oh, yes, I'm here to help. So just go to the internet and just surf for Transworld Central Washington. Bob Kelliher is going to come up. You'll grab my email off of there and my work cell. Call me anytime.
Thanks so much, Bob. Great deal.
Thank you, Andy.
Hey, we're back, and we're talking about the Pacific Northwest of the United States, an amazing area, beautiful, beautiful part of the country if you've never been out here. But we're with Michael Morrissey from Transworld Business Advisors of East Portland, and Portland's a great town, booming as well. So, Michael, welcome, and why don't you give us a little? Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing out there in the Portland area.
Well, Portland is just, like you said, booming. It's absolutely exploding as far as the market goes. We still have an average of about 50,000 people moving to Portland every single year.
That's incredible.
The real estate market is red hot. A 3-bedroom home goes for about $500,000 all over town right now. And people really are looking to buy businesses as well. We've got huge companies like Nike and Intel headquartered there. A lot of executives with big 6-figure pay, and they're looking to diversify. They're looking to divest into other revenue streams. And we've got a lot of businesses that really suit their fancy and work really well for them.
Yeah, and of course they could always buy a franchise too. So we have lots of opportunities. So what are you seeing out there in the business world? I mean, obviously with that many people walking in, I'm sure you're seeing construction service businesses and service businesses, and of course the restaurants and hospitality.
Yeah, we're seeing businesses of all different shapes and sizes and industries, from landscaping and construction to home inspection to, your typical restaurants, but even massage therapy and a whole different variety. The only thing we don't touch is the marijuana, because they don't deal with banks.
We haven't quite figured that out at Transworld. We've had some resales in Colorado and things like that, but everybody's still trying to figure out how to best bank those businesses. And again, a very popular area of the United States, 50,000 people. Sounds like some of the other areas in Florida. And when it's that hot, people are moving in. I always tell people that, listen, no matter what business you buy, if you do good things for people and you provide good service, you can't help but be successful. I mean, everything's expanding, right?
Right. And so revenues are good, earnings are good for these businesses. And a lot like our colleagues in Central Washington, a lot of business owners are just retiring. They've done very well over the last few years, and they're ready to hang it up, and their businesses are proven profitable and consistent. And that's what our buyers are really looking for. Businesses that can be run absentee, that have strong passive revenue streams, or are recession proof. And we seem to be getting a lot of those listings to satisfy those buyers. And it's a great market right now.
Great. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how best can they get in touch with you?
Well, they can call our office, and our number is 503-820-0063. My extension is number 3. Or they can look us up at tworld.com/Portland East.
Great. Thank you so much for coming in. Obviously, a hot area, Portland, and give Michael and their office a call. Lots of good things going on.
Hey, Jessica, you know what time it is?
Money time?
Almost. It's time for Listing of the Week.
Hey, we're back with Listing of the Week, and we have Kevin Moen from Transworld Business Advisors of Renton, and he has a very interesting business, and we see these kind of businesses a lot. It's like a combination of businesses, and I always like when businesses have real estate involved. I think it's certainly a safer investment that, you actually have dirt to invest in as well, and the banks love that. So, Kevin, why don't you give us a little bit of a background of what this is?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a kind of like you mentioned, a unique business in the respect that the business itself is really a real estate brokerage. So the most ideal buyer would be someone who's already operating in real estate and maybe looking for a better lifestyle or in addition to what they're already doing. But the unique thing about it is that they own 30 lots in a resort. So they're basically the go-to shop at this resort. They have a leasing office there. They're certainly not restricting from having competition, but frankly, they don't really run into any, which is nice. And they also have multiple different revenue streams. They collect commissions, 6 figures a year easily, just working your normal 40 hours a week. They also develop a few of the lots that they own and sell those per year. And they also flip these lots once in a while when they get someone who cares more about a quick sale than top dollar. They'll go ahead and purchase it directly and resell it. So it's kind of a unique business in the respect where there's a couple employees. It's really a brokerage, but there's also a real estate element to it. And it's in Western Washington in an absolutely gorgeous setting. Personally, if I live close to that area, I was tempted to get it for myself.
We always have those that we,
because it's absolutely gorgeous out there and certainly has a really unique aspect to it and a lot of strong redeeming factors.
So how much are they asking for this business?
So for everything, they're only asking $550,000. And for people located in and around King County can understand how's that possible. These are little lots that are really designed for I shouldn't say vacation rentals, but more of a second property for families.
Sure.
So the lots themselves are worth between 10 to 25,000, and again, that 550 includes a business that's generating about $133,000 a year in discretionary earnings and 30 lots of actual real estate.
Great. Sounds like a great deal. How best to get in touch with you if somebody wants to move to Western Washington and be in paradise, basically?
Yeah, well, they're absolutely welcome to call me at 206-456-4355. They can also check out our website at tworld.com/Renton. Tworld, short for Transworld. T as in Tyler. And we have all our listings there, and they can request more information where myself or one of our other brokers will be happy to reach out.
Great. Thanks for coming in today. Perfect listing. Hey, we're back, and we are talking about the Pacific Northwest again, and we're here in Seattle having a great time at our regional meeting, and I have a very special guest, Kevin Moen of Transworld Business Advisors of Renton, and he's killing it up here, and it's very busy. And so, Kevin, why don't you give us a little update of what you're seeing out there?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so it's definitely very active in the Seattle market right now. We're definitely seeing a lot of buyer activity, and my firm is about 3 years old, and it seems that we're starting to get to that point where we're doing about a deal a month, which is pretty much our goal. A lot of activities around restaurants, but we've also got several service businesses for sale, a couple in the construction industry, which is certainly booming in our area, and certainly a lot of buyer activity from all different buyer types, from an operator of the business to a Microsoft type who's just looking for a side gig as an investment to completely absentee opportunities as well.
Yeah, you were talking about that a little bit earlier, that you see a lot of people wanting to diversify, right? You want people want to invest in Seattle. It's certainly a booming place. And you're seeing things, of course, in the hospitality. Seattle's a great foodie town, right? Certainly a great coffee town.
Absolutely.
I had an amazing cup of coffee this morning. I won't tell you which brand, but it wasn't Starbucks. It was, I love going outside the box a little bit on that. So what do you see? Small businesses doing well, right? So you see a lot of good profit and losses, a lot of good investment opportunities.
Absolutely. And I think some buyers that don't know exactly what they're looking for can be pretty pleased to see opportunities out there where they're good businesses making six figures, where the owner may or may not even be working full time in that business. Some of that depends on the industry. Some of it depends on the timing of the sale. And when those businesses hit the market, they tend to move pretty quickly. So we've got a lot of guys on our list that are looking for those absentee opportunities. And when they hit the market, they tend to move pretty quick.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, I didn't bring that up yet, but this is a hot place, and one of the great things that Transworld has is a large buyer database, right?
Yeah. In just my office alone, we have about 1,000 buyers on our database. We try to keep in touch with every single one of them through email updates, and we have new listings or price reductions or just businesses we think people are overlooking. And so anyone that's even thinking about buying a business could even contact us and get added to that buyer list, because that's how we keep in touch with our buyers and try to bring our listings to that market.
And so, and I haven't talked about this yet, but I've seen over time, and I've said this a few times, that we haven't seen the baby boomers come en masse yet, but I think we're starting to. You starting to see some of the baby boomers, or are they still holding back and, just coming because of situations that lead them to, want to sell?
I think that that's definitely a trend as far as seeing more baby boomers coming to the age and the point in their life where they're looking to exit or do a change of lifestyle. The people that I work with range all types of demographics, either relocating. I've actually had a lot of different people when they're kind of middle-aged looking to relocate to Idaho and other markets and that kind of thing. But in general, most of my clients are north of 55. And I think you're starting to see a lot more of that baby boomer demographic get to the age where they're ready to retire and head to the next chapter.
That's great. And anything else that you wanted to add about your office specifically that, people might want to call you and give them your contact information?
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, one of the things we really try to do is provide a lot of value for sellers, and we offer free consultations. We also have a survey online in case someone was just curious to see what their business would be worth as kind of a starting point. We also have a broker who specializes in working with buyers. So if you have no idea what you want to buy, independent company, franchise, brand new franchise, resale, anything along those lines, we have a guy who specializes in working with buyers, and he'd be happy to set up an initial meeting and get to know what they're looking for and help them find that exact fit.
Great. Thanks for coming in today. Did you want to give out your number?
Yeah, absolutely. You can reach me directly at 206-456-4355. You can look us up online at tworld.com/Renton. And feel free to call me. Feel free to contact us online. We'd love to help.
Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks for tuning in to our show today. If you like the podcast, don't forget to subscribe through your favorite podcasting app and leave us a review. If you have questions or suggestions for the show, visit us at tworld/thedealboard or email us at thedealboard@tworld.com.